Mortal Kombat is one of, if not the biggest fighting game franchise ever, spawning countless games, bad spin-offs, movies, both live action and animated, TV shows, comics, and more. And with Mortal Kombat 12 recently announced and reported to drop later this year, everyone has been talking about who they hope and think is going to be in the roster, since Mortal Kombat has a huge variety of characters, both old and new, that have a chance of coming back. Salutations everybody, my name is Terrestrial, but you can call me Diego, where today I'm making a list of the characters I think have a chance of coming back for Mortal Kombat 12. Mortal Kombat 11 story mode left off with Liu Kang resetting the timeline back to the times of the Great Kung Lao, and it'll probably pick up from there. But my roster isn't based on who I think will appear because of the story, because it doesn't always matter if a character is dead or hasn't been born yet in Netherrealm games. They always have a chance to come back. So starting off, I'm going to add some characters who I think always come back in a Mortal Kombat game, and I think they'll do the same in Mortal Kombat 12. And those are Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Kitana, Johnny Cage, Sonya, Jax, and Kano. I would have added Raiden to the list, but I think they're going to give Raiden some time off for this next game and not have him be the protector of Earthrealm, especially since Liu Kang is now Fire God Liu Kang and he'll probably be the next Raiden figure for the next few games. Maybe he'll be DLC or maybe he just won't show up. We'll see. Now for the list that actually matters, the characters that I think are coming back or that I hope to see come back. To start off, I'm starting with Ermac, because we saw him looking fresh and new in the Mortal Kombat 11 script, but he never showed up as a playable character, not even as DLC, which I still think is a bummer. Next up is Reptile, which for me, it was between him and Baraka, but I think Reptile is coming back since people love the ninjas and were missing Reptile in Mortal Kombat 11, and since Baraka got his chance to shine in Mortal Kombat 11, maybe Baraka will not show up in this one and Reptile will. Sort of like a back and forth for them. Next up is Melina, which I do think she has a chance of coming back, but it's more so because I feel like Netherrealm have learned their lesson with the Melina fans and know that keeping her out of a game is a bad idea. Next up are characters that have appeared to some extent in every Mortal Kombat game since Mortal Kombat 9. But it's been tricky with them because they've appeared in certain ways, just not always as playable characters, especially in Mortal Kombat 11. And those are Mustard and Ketchup, Cyrus and Sector. It's been too long since the Cyborgs have made a comeback, and yes, Triborg exists, but Cyrus and Sector deserve a chance to shine on their own once again. And because Netherrealm teased us with them in Mortal Kombat 11 by giving them brand new designs and a role to play in the story, I feel like they are definitely coming back. And for the last ninja character in my list is Smoke. I'm a huge Smoke fan, so maybe I'm biased, but I don't care. This is my list, this is my video. He hasn't been playable since Mortal Kombat 9, Triborg doesn't count. Cyborg, Smoke, and Smoke are different. And you know, I just want him to come back, especially since we were teased in Mortal Kombat X with the Anenra thing. I just feel like there's some interesting things they can do with his character, but they just haven't. The treatment they gave Noob Saibot for Mortal Kombat 11 is the one I feel like Smoke deserves for Mortal Kombat 12. Every Mortal Kombat game has at least one sorcerer character. Mortal Kombat 9 had Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, Mortal Kombat X had Quan Chi and Shinnok, and Mortal Kombat 11 had Shang Tsung. And while I do think Quan Chi has a chance of coming back for Mortal Kombat 12, I do think that the hype and love for Shang Tsung has risen immensely, especially since they made him basically the protagonist in Mortal Kombat Aftermath. I feel like, why stop now? I do think Shang Tsung will come back in Mortal Kombat 12, and these two characters are the Combat Kids, which I feel like every Mortal Kombat game from now on will at least have two, and those are Cassie Cage and Takeda. Cassie Cage, I feel like she's now a staple in the roster and will appear in most, if not all, the Mortal Kombat games from now on. I wouldn't mind if they gave her a break and maybe gave another Combat Kid a chance to be the protagonist for a while. Maybe Takeda, I'm looking at you. But maybe even Kung Jin will take her spot, and maybe we'll get Kung Jin and Takeda, but I don't think so. I think Cassie Cage will be the one to appear. And Takeda is my favorite Combat Kid. He has the most potential out of all of them, And even as a combat kid, he's such a badass. I mean, trained by Scorpion and the son of Kenshi, dude. And it's a sin that they put him in MK11, not even as DLC. Maybe it was planned, maybe it was not, but people have been clamoring for him to come back, and I do think he will. These last few characters are all from the 3D era of Mortal Kombat, which most of them are kind of bad, but these ones are the ones that I feel like deserve or are maybe going to get a reimagining of some sorts, because the 3D era characters just do deserve some love, and these are the ones that I think are coming back. And you can't talk about the 3D era without mentioning Havoc. Havoc hasn't been playable since Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which came out almost 20 years ago, and the fans have been begging for him to make a comeback. And in Mortal Kombat 11, even though he wasn't in the game, they loved mentioning him for some reason. He even appeared in Joker's arcade ending. I do hope he's included in the base roster, and I do think he will. My second 3D era character is Kira. Now wait, I know that Kira as a character is kind of boring. She's basically a female Kano, and I already put Kano in my list. But I do think they'll end up giving her some sort of reimagining and giving her a new design and story with a, just give her her own personality basically. Maybe she'll now be Kano's daughter or something, I don't know. And with her having a recent appearance in Snowblind, I do think she has a chance of coming back. Just like my next character from the 3D era, Nitara. Nitara is just like Havoc. She's a fan favorite and people love her ever since she appeared in the 3D era. I mean, a vampire in Mortal Kombat, and she's the only one. It just makes her unique and stand out from the others from the 3D era, since most of them were just kind of bland. And her appearing in the Mortal Kombat live action movie, I feel like sort of gave her a boost in popularity, enough to maybe the devs want to put her in the new game, which I hope they do. For my last 3D era character is Shujinko, which I admit it's a bit of a stretch. But Shujinko deserves some respect if I do say so myself. He knows basically every fighting stance out there and can copy everyone's abilities. Now, I do think that if they bring him back, he'll have moves of his own and everything, but he's a very interesting character and I hope to see him come back. Maybe Onaga will be the big boss in Mortal Kombat 12, and you can't have Onaga without Shujinko, especially since he's the one that freed him by collecting all the Kamidoga and bringing it to him in the Conquest mode. So yeah, Shujinko, I really want him to come back. And for my last character of the list is the Great Kung Lao. And I know that at the beginning of the video I said that my list isn't based on the ending of Mortal Kombat 11 and what it means to be at the times of the Great Kung Lao. But I do think that we will finally have him as a playable character in Mortal Kombat 12, because he's been mentioned as far back as Mortal Kombat 2. And we've seen him every now and then in the comics and maybe some of the arcade endings or some flashbacks. But we finally got a full look at him in Mortal Kombat Aftermath, and I do think that Mortal Kombat 12 will be his in-game debut, and I hope so. And as a pre-order bonus, I think that they'll add Kintaro. Normally they add like these boss characters, so maybe it'll be Onaga or someone else, maybe it'll be Shao Kahn or Goro again, but I do think that Kintaro is going to be it. He hasn't had a spot on the roster since Mortal Kombat 9, and even then he wasn't even playable. So I do think that Kintaro will be in the game, but probably not in the base roster. He'll be a pre-order bonus, which I'm counting as DLC, which my wish list for DLC characters is another video I'm going to make, so stay tuned for that one. And that's it. Those are the characters I hope and think we'll see come back in Mortal Kombat 12. Most of them are kind of safe, but I feel like I made some bold decisions on who I'm adding to the list here. I'm going to make another video on the DLC characters that I hope will be added in Mortal Kombat 12, which has both guest and characters from the Mortal Kombat universe. And this list isn't perfect. I feel like some of these characters are going to appear. Maybe most of them are not, or maybe most of them are. I don't know. Maybe they will end up rebooting the entire series and only focusing on characters that could be alive at the times of the Great Kung Lao. But yeah, this is it for my wish list of Mortal Kombat characters. Drop a like on this video.
Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and ring the bell notification icon so that you get notified when I drop my DLC characters wish list, which I hope to be making out soon, but school has been kicking my ass, so maybe it'll come out a month later, since that's basically the time it's taken me to upload for a while now. But yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.